Folks, we are back on the stage, and we've got Matt Teager from High Moon, who's here to tell us about Transformers Fall of Cybertron, right?
Yeah, coming out pretty soon. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's not too far away. How
August
long?
21st.
All right.
360, PS3, and PC. And, you know, I am so excited to have gamers get their hands on it. It's going to be awesome.
It's a great show for you guys with the Transformers license, because I know Hasbro has that just huge, gigantic booth
They
in there.
have two huge booths.
Do they?
They have like a giant area, and then like, because they have so many like exclusives, they have a whole nother giant booth, bigger than most people, just for where you can go buy their stuff.
That's Transformers fans at Comic-Con.
They're in heaven.
It's like it's one of the most rabid fan bases you're going to find here.
Now, I will say, with all the costumes, though, I haven't seen a single Transformer yet, though. Usually what you see is, you know, people are dressed up. I haven't seen one yet.
There's always that one guy dressed as Bumblebee who has like an escort clearing the hallway for him, and it's just slow and painful, and he walks about a foot a second.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that guy.
Yeah. So you actually brought a single-player demo of the game. Why don't we go ahead and get that started, see if we can get the demo going right now. And actually, while we wait for that, here we go.
It's firing up right now.
Great.
So where we're at in the game is you're playing as Optimus Prime. One of the great things about the game is you get to play as many different Transformers. Each one's really different. And in this particular area, to give you some context, you know, the Autobots, just in case you don't know anything about Transformers, right?
Of course, yeah.
Autobots and Decepticons. Autobots are the good guys, led by Optimus Prime. They come from a place called Cybertron. That's their home. And basically their world is dying. It's shutting down. That's the story of this game. The Decepticons in the previous game basically won. They control the entire planet. Autobots only have a small piece left. And what they're doing is trying to build a ship, it's called the Ark, to take off and leave. They don't even know where they're going to go. They just know they need to leave because it's genocide for them, right? So where we're at right now is the Autobots have all but lost. Optimus is kind of, sometimes he knows things that he doesn't understand how he knows them. He's got kind of a part of Cybertron inside of him. So in the story, this is kind of a little quiet moment where he's moving through a space and turning on the base defenses. Ultimately, what we're going to see in the demo is that's what turns the tide of the war in a very unexpected way for Optimus, even. But I don't want to spoil it because we'll have to let it unfold. But you know, each character really is different. Optimus's level is very. It's very much like Saving Private Ryan. It's a big war movie type level. When you look at someone like Cliffjumper, it's much more of, I use the word stealth, but it's not a stealth level in the sense of you have the ability to turn invisible, but you're really setting the pace. It's a much slower paced level. There's a lot of story that unfolds, and that level happens right after this one. So I think those two things juxtaposed next to each other do a really good job of showing you the kind of variety. When in single player I start to talk about, well, okay, but you've also got a character like Starscream who flies, and that's a fundamentally very different way to experience the world. Oh yeah, and you have Grimlock who doesn't have a gun, he just has a sword and shield. That's a very different way. Like each character really has a really unique feel and style. Jazz has a grappling hook. I mean, they're all really different. So what we got going in here is like he's kind of turned on what are, you know, kind of the big turret, right? The big turret experience, which, you know, you're blowing up some of these ships, and, you know, we kind of hopped into probably the middle of this level where, you know, these things have been haranguing you for a while. It's been very difficult. Now you finally get the big gun that you can take out, you know, some of these really big objects.
You guys really managed to cram a lot of detail into this landscape.
Well, you know, we have a couple things going for us. Two really great things going for us. One, we're using the Unreal Engine, which we've shipped several games on at this point, right? And so we really, you know, it's super powerful, but also we know how to use it. Yeah. The other one is this is our second Transformers game, and as a studio, it was our first opportunity to kind of build what is functionally a sequel, a game built on what we had learned before. Right. You know, and because when we started War, one of the big challenges, you know, as a game developer is often you're going to look at some games to parallel, you know, not necessarily steal, but, you know, how can I look for some examples of kinds of games? And actually there aren't any for Transformers. You know, there really weren't. You know, when you looked at it, this concept of turning into a vehicle whenever you want to is, I'm a huge fan of Halo. I think it's a phenomenal game. Stepping into my Warthog is different than being a jet whenever I want to. Yeah, turning into a Warthog whenever I want to. So it really was a real learning experience for us on War, and in Fall of Cybertron, we just stood on the shoulders of everything we had learned, and we, you know, had experienced so much with the concepts of space and style and size and epicness, and, you know, how much room do you really need, and we learned that adding just even sometimes small things really mean a lot. So for example, really simple, but there's terrain in this game, which we didn't have any terrain in War for Cybertron. It's all flat surfaces. Right. When you add those bumps, all of a sudden driving is just 10 times more fun. Like it's just simple, but it makes a big difference.
Right.
So you know, very shortly here, we're going to see that kind of moment. So he's turned on the defenses. He's trying to save Cybertron, or you know, what his area, his base. It's not going well at all. And if you were able to listen to the dialogue, you know, all the people around him are saying, Optimus, what are you doing? Like, you know, they're not necessarily doubting him, but really don't understand what he's up to. And he just gets pulled in a certain direction. He feels something. And so this is another one of those real quiet moments. I'm real proud of having a lot more of these kind of story reflective areas than we ever had in War. You know, War was kind of turned it to 11 and we kept it there. Yeah. You know, and this really, we dedicated some space and some time to, let's not shoot the trigger, let's not throw any bullets in the world, let's not put any destructibles, let's just kind of enjoy this awesome place of Cybertron. So right here you're going to see it. So Optimus doesn't even know what's going to happen. You as a player don't know, and you go ahead and pull this trigger to see what's going to happen. We'll see it in a second. I think it's pretty awesome.
What is even happening right now?
Look at those poor Decepticons. So what he thinks is he's turning on the last of the base defenses, which in reality is true. It's just not what he doesn't get quite what he expects.
Right.
So
I'm starting to see what's happening here.
Yeah. So this is Metroplex. He is a city-sized transformer, and you can see right there, Optimus fits in the palm of his hand. And so as you're playing through the game, he was really important for two reasons for us to put Metroplex in. One, scale and epicness of the place of the world you're in was really important to us. But the other one was, we really want you to understand that Optimus is the leader of the Autobots. And when you're playing the game, you get to control Metroplex and what he does. Yeah. And seeing tiny little Optimus controlling this city-sized transformer, I think really is a nice way of visually showing you he's the man. He's in charge of the Autobots. And so now we're going to play through the level. There's areas where you can drive. You can certainly walk this if you choose. And because we don't have any restrictions on transformation. And you'll see him stomping through the world, and very shortly it unlocks the ability that you can actually control him, direct his attacks, do all sorts of fun stuff with him.
So if we could shift gears here for a second, no pun intended,
sure,
maybe pun intended. You guys actually had a bit of a multiplayer event last night, right?
Yeah, we did. It was super fun, and the online experience in the game is that this is. So many games offer a really cool single-player experience and kind of maybe don't even have that online experience that people are excited for. And we have two huge efforts that went into that. One was the competitive, one was the cooperative component. Right. The co-op component is, a highly requested feature from us. It's called Escalation Mode. Okay. And it's 4 players online co-op where you are fighting against waves of enemies. People call it Horde Mode and Gears, right? What we drove towards, we kind of often think about, like, what's the one word we boil it down to that we're trying to deliver on? It's addictive. Okay. And I think that's what we really did a good job on. So it's waves of enemies, 4 players. The trick is that there are 4 jobs. One person is the healer. One person can have a shield and draw aggro and protect allies. One person can drop an ammo beacon, which generates an area where everyone's going to replenish ammo if they're close, and also has a little damage multiplier. And then the 4th character can spawn a AI turret that's going to float around with you. There's only one healer, there's only one turret guy, and so you have to be real careful about how you play together. And in that healer, as example, he can heal the other 3 characters. He can't heal himself. So you really need, if anybody screws up their job.
So what you're saying is, if your buddy Leroy Jenkins wants to join in on the game with you, you might want to think twice.
Yeah, do not
about letting him occupy the healer role.
That's right. That's exactly right. Because What's great about the game is there's an end point. There's 15 waves, and you can win. You can set the difficulty, easy meaning and hard. You get 3 strikes, meaning 3 party wipes, and you guys are done. But there's this currency that you generate from killing enemies that is a collective pool. Okay. Meaning, like, I've got mine, you've got yours, but we can both put it into the same thing. And so you're unlocking new areas of the map. Traps are brand new for us. You can unlock flame jets on the enemies, all sorts of cool stuff, new weapons, all sorts of really fun things. But it all comes down to, you know, when you see the people who are getting to the end, they're talking to each other. Right. All right, everybody, let's go for this door because I think there's some good stuff behind it. I've got 2,000 credits, you got 6, we can get the door open. You know, like, that's the way it works. And it's proven to be really fun. There's multiple maps with different character choices. So we're seeing a bit of the character customization here, so right? This is competitive multiplayer. Okay. In competitive multiplayer, it is built on everything that worked in War for Cybertron, actually, which is one of the things that we were real proud of that worked really well was, well, the experience we had in MP. But there were a couple technical things we wanted to add, like host migration, not maybe the sexiest thing in the world, but very important. Right. But the big, giant new feature, the thing we wanted to turn to 11 was character customization. Right. So what we did is every single character is divided into parts. Head, chest, upper arms, lower arms, legs, wings, wheels, and tank barrels. And so you pick those parts and just, you know, you set them all up exactly the way you want. If you're a big, giant Transformers fan, or even if you just like customization, you can spend tens of hours just in the menus. So you've got, like, the basic stuff you know, like color palettes and all that kind of stuff. But what's really unique to Transformers is they come from this world of Cybertron, which is this all-metal world. So here you can see a lot of color palette choices. You make an Autobot and Decepticon version of your guy whenever you make them. And as we look at these guys, you can see they have different levels of shininess. You have this what's called the metallic slider bar. And so you take a character like Yellow, you slide it all the way down to the end where it's not metallic at all. It looks very matte, like a construction vehicle yellow, right? Oh, okay, interesting. So here you can see, take a look at that yellow, right? It's pretty, not very shiny, you know, all that. You slide it all the way to the other end, and all of a sudden you're in, like, concept car yellow, you know, ultra. And what it is this color flavor multiplier, right? It really means, like, not only are you going to spend all this time finding the right colors, but then you say, all right, well, wait, what level of metallic do I want it to be? The perfect shade of green plus shininess. Crazy amounts of hours. So in multiplayer, it's divided by classes: cars, trucks, planes, and tanks. And each of those have their own unique sets of parts. So in the tanks, for example, one of the things he's showing off was that you pick the cannon, it's reflected in both your robot and your vehicle as you're, like, cycling between them. So pretty awesome stuff. All right. We're getting into, like, pimp my ride territory right here. People will spend so much time on this. It's going to be amazing. All right. So I apologize for anybody who's sending me questions over Twitter right now. We're having a little bit of a problem with our Wi-Fi connection. So unfortunately, I can't get to those questions, although I will ask, are there any robots based on the San Diego trolleys behind us? There should be. Because that would be a pretty good transformation. Well, yeah, it would be. You get to make a bunch of people wait before crossing into the convention center. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. I always, I remember, did you ever see the movie Big with Tom Hanks? Oh, yeah. There's a certain point where he's in the toy thing, and they're like, well, it transforms into a building. I said, well, what's fun about a building? He's like, it's a building. It tests really well. Right. No, there's no fun to be had on certain vehicles. I have to say, I think maybe San Diego Trolley might not be the best, most exciting vehicle. Okay. I'm going to throw it out there. At least not in this game. Maybe in the next one. Who knows? Maybe if there are humans in this game. Of course, yeah. So there you can see the weapons that, you know, as you're picking different weapons, they're all reflected in there. Of course, the colors that you chose are reflected in your weapons. You know, all this stuff's super important, and so we spent a lot of time on it. All right, cool. It's looking good, Matt. Thanks a lot for dropping by and giving us a taste of the game. Yeah, I cannot wait for gamers to get a hold of it. It is August 21st on 360, PS3, and PC. All right, cool. Thanks a lot for swinging by. Appreciate it. Yeah, my pleasure. All right, guys, so that was Transformers Fall of Cybertron. Now we're going to go see what else Homer is doing over there at the convention center. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun.